Communication and Professionalism. In this lesson, we're going to cover a major cornerstone in you as being an IT professional and working with individuals as well as organizations. So let's get started. As a professional technician and an IT professional, you need to possess a certain level of technical competence. But the technical ability alone isn't enough. There's something also more important and even far reaching than just the technical skills and the ability. It's your communication and professionalism with your clients, with your coworkers, and the organizations that you work with. That's the only thing that'll set you apart and acting like a true professional and building a solid reputation. This by far is one of the most important areas of being an IT professional. And as for me personally, I believe it's very, very critical to all of us being a true professional. Good communication includes listening to what the user or manager or developer is telling you and making certain that you understand completely. That a user or customer may not fully understand that terminology or concepts, but it doesn't mean they have a real problem that needs to be addressed. And you need to convey that. Therefore, you must be skilled at not only listening, but also to at translating as well. Now, one of the biggest areas of professionalism starts with the attire, professional appearance and attire. When you walk into an organization, there's going to be one of two different types of attire. There's going to be either the formal or the business casual. Let's talk about these in a little bit more detail. If you're working with an organization and they have a formal appearance, that's going to be an overall polished look. Examples of this would be a suit set, a jacket. Some may offer dress shirt and ties, dress pants, skirts, collared shirts. You may find this in higher organizations and law firms and organizations along that nature. But that will be the formal dress appearance there. And you need to match that if you're going to be working in that environment, unless there's been some type of communication beforehand. But that is the formal look. Some organizations are a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more laid back. That will be the business casual. This atmosphere is going to be jeans and t-shirts and sneakers. Again, pattern your attire after that business. If that is their attire, you want to dress to that attire. You don't want to you don't want to dress down in this situation. If you don't know, always be prepared to dress higher than what's expected. You don't want to dress down. One rule is, or one thing you can do is check with the company website or social media. If you have any questions, see how the organization dresses or how the pictures are presented. That can give you a good idea of the environment there in that organization. Also, you want to demonstrate cultural competence. Companies have different employees from many different backgrounds. Don't be judgmental, be respectful and open minded. When applicable, use appropriate professional titles. Some companies may use first names basis, but follow the company's lead. Don't initiate calling someone by their first name. Use the professional title. If that person you're meeting with in an organization invites you to use first names, then do so. Don't lead with off with that. Start with the title. Remember, we're here to educate and empower. We want to teach people technology. We want to allow them to be our advocate in the future. So don't talk down. Don't come in the with the attitude that you're the IT professional and you know more than everyone, because we don't. We're there as a resource and a tool to help that individual or the organization with their technology needs. When you're on the location with the client or in resolving a problem with an organization, be on time. Contact the customer if you're going to be late, possibly reschedule if need be. Personal calls, avoid personal calls while on the customer site. Sometimes these things do happen. And if they do happen, if it's emergency, apologize for that. But don't make it a habit to have personal calls while you're on a conversation on the customer's site. Um, Again, avoid personal calls. Texting and social media. Don't engage in any social media or social activity while working with customers. Again, you're there as a resource to help them. Um, we can do that after or before that when you're on the site with the customer. Again, personal interruptions, some of his personal phone calls, avoid these while working with customers. Do not casually engage with coworkers. And what that means is if you and a coworker on a site with a customer, don't talk about what you guys are going to do after work or did you see the game last night. You're there again as a support for the customer. So you want to avoid those casual conversations with your coworkers. You want to be professional at all times. They're helping that customer and that client resolve their needs. Your customer deserves 100% of your full attention. Apologize for delays. Sometimes things are outside of our control. Things don't go as normal sometimes, and unintended distractions do happen, but apologize, be courteous and professional. Communicate and invite communications. Be open, friendly, and inviting. On the phone, avoid distractions from the office. If we're in an office and you have to speak with a customer, and if it's a noisy environment, move to a quieter room. Make sure that you're in a place where you're going to be able to hear the customer and the customer can hear you. On the other end of that, think about and put yourself in the customer's shoes. If they're speaking with you and you hear a lot of background noise, they're not going to be confident that you fully heard or understood them. Or they may get the visual idea or appearance that it's going to be very crowded or busy over there, and it sounds like everything is not totally together. So you want to give that them the reassuring of that you are a professional and you're listening and give them 100% of your attention. So find a quiet room to speak with them on. Don't use speakerphones unless in a group call. Sometimes your communication on the phone needs to be on one-on-one contact. Again, unless it's discussed ahead of time that you're going to be on a speakerphone. Active listening. Active listening. Be fully present. Listen to and learn and understand. You want to build relationships during this time and you want to take notes. There's going to be key information that that caller is giving you, that customer is giving you. It can be gained here. And it's helpful when you're on the phone taking notes. Avoid interrupting. Allow the customer to fully talk. When you interrupt, you can appear rude and make people feel inferior. So you want to make sure that you understand them and you let them fully get their ideas out and listen to everything they have to say. You may know the answer, but allow them to finish and you can circle back around with active listening and reiterate or replay back what they said. You can ask clarifying questions to drill down to gain understanding, not to argue or prove a point, but to gain understanding. And again, restate the understanding of the issue. Did I understand this correctly? Or did I hear this correctly? And just to make sure I heard properly, you said this and this and this. That gains the customer's confidence that you are listening to them and they are fully got your attention. Never make assumptions. Even if it seems obvious, never make assumptions. When we're speaking with our customers, whether on the phone or in person, we want to use the appropriate language. We don't want to use jargon or acronyms. You do not have to impress the customer with all your technical jargon and acronyms. A lot of times may not understand that. They want you to communicate with them so they can understand. That's why we're there. We're a resource for them. We're going to help educate them. We're not going to distance them with our technical knowledge. Technology can be intimidating by itself. They don't need us using technical jargons that they never heard of or that we're trying to make ourselves look like we know a lot. We don't want to do that. We can be a trusted bridge of communication by talking to our clients and our customers on a human level. Explain technical concepts on an understanding level. And that's what is a worthwhile skill out in the field is taking technical and breaking it down at an understandable level. That way you are a bridge to communication. And clients and professionals can trust you because they know that you can take that and break it down to them and make them understand. So they begin to trust you more. Don't use slang. Be professional in all your communications. Maintain a positive attitude. Be positive and project confidence. The customer is always counting on you to solve their issues. So don't sound defeated when they're reporting a problem. Go to the customer with the attitude of trust. Believe what the customer is saying, but don't believe everything has been said. And so, what this means is sometimes customers may forget things, they may forget some details. Have the customer reproduce the error, identify any recent changes, and use all that collected information to isolate the issue. And this is how you do an ongoing investigation, working with your customer and what they report to you. Sometimes you're going to have to deal with difficult customers or situations. Don't argue or be defensive. Technical problems can be stressful as it is. So don't dismiss customer problems, but also don't judge or contradict as well. Diffuse difficult situations. Partner with the customer to resolve issues. Have empathy, build relationships. Understand that this is stressful for them, but for you, it may not be stressful. You've seen this before. They haven't. Have empathy. Help them and act again as the one that's going to build a bridge and help them get to a solution. If you do have a bad encounter with a customer or a client, don't post it on social media about that experience. Be professional. Don't do that. Setting expectations. You know, when you're working with customers and clients and there's expectations to be set, offer repair replacement options, offer different options and explain the differences between the options. A customer may need this item to be resolved, but it may be a couple ways of doing it. It may be A, B, or C, but explain the differences between those. They'll feel more valued that you're giving them different options and explaining those options. Make recommendations if asked. If the client asks you, what would you recommend? Based on you working with them and what you've seen, you may make a recommendation on the best option and explain why it's the best option so they can see that. Provide documentation. Document everything. Leave no room for questions. Be as transparent as possible. Also, follow up and verify satisfaction. Call the customer up. How is it working? Just checking back with you. That goes a long way. Sometimes they may report back to you, everything's fine. Sometimes, hey, I got another problem or I got questions about this. Always follow up and verify that satisfaction. That goes, again, a long way. And resolving that and keeping the issue resolved, as well as sometimes they will call you back again because they know that you will follow through and follow up as well. A lot of times you're going to come across sensitive information. You're going to deal with areas that's really confidential. You're going to have to be professional here. There's going to be privacy and concerns, professional and private information, and computers, printers, devices. You're going to come across this information. You need to be professionally responsible. IT professionals have to access corporate information, be responsible, respect privacy and confidentiality. Treat everyone with respect, regardless of what you may come across. In this lesson, we talked about professionalism and communication, professional appearance, your attire and your communications, positive attitude and confidence, active listening, note taking, in the ways that you can be professional with your clients. Again, this is one of the biggest and the strongest areas that any professional would need to master and understand, because this goes a long way as far as showing the people who you are as a professional. You may know the technical, but it's equal skill to how to handle and work with customers and clients as well on a professional level. I want to thank you for joining me with this lesson, and I will see you in the next lesson.